everybody, and welcome to Free Wheel Station. And we start off in a building, like in a big high-rise building, like overlooking a city that is just in like where we see a lot of like smog coming off, and we see lights in the distance, below, and we see like industry, and we see like commercial districts and what have you, and we see the form of an espricasa standing and overlooking it, and kind of overlooking it all. We kind of recognize Tira Skilled, um, and then we get and as the camera kind of pulls back, we get like another person there. They're you know, I think maybe they're. What is going on there? What is all that extra noise? Um,
I apologize.
the Sorry. And we get like we get like like maybe there's a human woman behind him. We don't really know her. We've never really seen her before, and she kind of maybe has like a very smart business dress, sort of outfit, and glasses, with a data pad in hand. And it's like, and and how would you like, and how are you planning on handling this? And we hear Tira Skilled's voice is like, and he's like, well, he goes, I think that perhaps it's time to call in the shells and let them, all the properties belonging to her company will revert back to the shells she purchased them from. The company itself will be dissolved as the interests will be sold, as the general interest will be sold off. However, I want a complete and total survey of I want her all of her properties searched thoroughly. And you know how to manage the media in this one. And and she's like, and how would you like to address this with the others? And he's like, most of them will sit back and watch how this plays out. I'll have a meeting with her soon enough. He goes, he goes, and she goes, very good, sir. And, she turns and walks out of the room. And then we get like the sort of like opening sequence with like the we sort of like fade out and fade back in on like the drage system with its planets, and it's three planets with their various moons, and like we see Free Wheel Station looking like a big wheel in the sky, and or in hanging in space with some ships coming and going here and there, and it looks like it's in it's a bit of a state of disrepair, although better obviously than at the first of the season. And the camera flies underneath, and we see the wrench that's welded into the frame in a corner. We come out on the backside, we get the big Free Wheel Station logo, um, and we kind of come back in with the shuttle, with Miss Depot, with Philip and Kib and Death Arms shuttle heading towards like sort of like breaking out of drift in the Vescar, and like there's maybe the title card at the bottom says the Vescarium, um, and it's got the star date, which is what would that be, official timekeeper?
Okay, so that was something I was going to bring up when you were done with the background. How much time has passed?
It took you 15 days in drift to get here.
Oh, okay. So
We rolled that last week.
if pack standard holds true, then it's New Year's Eve pack standard.
Ooh. So you find your way in, like like maybe the like you're like come out near Vesk Prime,
Oh,
um,
nice.
and there's a you know because I would assume they'd have drift beacons fairly close to that, and there's a we see the rest of the planets in the background and what have you. Are you I can get to this here. I need a specific book here. And I'm not sure where I put it. But in the meantime, what are you guys talking about? Like when we come in on the ship, like and we kind of like cut to the interior of the ship, what is the mood like? What are you guys doing when we cut to you and what are you guys talking about? What are we looking at?
Kid.
Like at the moment, I'm focused on just sitting in the pilot seat, just driving, and then they say my name, and I'm like, yeah.
Over the last 15 days, I've been working with you so that you can eventually have some life. But until then, now that we finally made it, we were looking for the current site of one of the paper tea trading company posts. That was why we were here.
Oh, right. Um, I think I had that noted. I think it's over there.
Hang on. There we go. Aw, I don't know anything. I know as little as you right now, kid, but that bothers me. So, I guess we go to Prime and have to ask some questions.
Let me see something. Oh,
Right. We're good with questions. Let's do that.
But as far as having a clue
actually,
when we get there of where to go, yeah, I'm like, well, we might as well start here since we're right by it.
well, luckily for you, Dr. Oglehop in his travels has apparently been here. He's like,
I would
oh
assume
man,
that.
he's like, I've been here once or twice. Is they have like a little shop right downtown in the capital city. Like there's a, it's right across the way from like this this botanical shop. It's got like these great He's got oh man, it's got all kinds of cool zoological like products, things that like hunters and stuff have brought back and like plant experts and things. There's like a
Oh,
whole
nice.
thing. He's like uh he's like you know he's like yeah, I could have he's like he probably is like he can show you on the city map where that's at.
Okay, but before we actually continue, Dr. Oglehop, do you know how to fly?
That's a good question. Does Dr. Oglehop know how to fly? No, Dr. Oglehop does not know how to fly.
Well, say it right. No,
he's like,
man.
yeah, he's like, nah. He's like, they have this, like, the universe just kind of takes me where I need to go. I've never really had to learn how to fly.
I see. Well, the universe decided that you needed to be here today, and I'm glad for it. Kid?
Right. So we're flying there. Yeah, let's go. And I turn the ship towards the central
Alright.
city thing.
Okay, the only thing we have that technically would count as a bad thing is a corpse, and we can get around that. Um,
What?
so,
Oh yeah, the Gormy.
Is it frozen? Oh, isn't it
yeah,
in the?
she's in stasis in my arm right now.
Yeah.
We lost a lot of grenades. But really, we should have eviscerated 99% of her tissue, so we have that going for us. Other than that, kid, you know you've made us a fucking enemy. Fucking her uncle or whatever. Her what is it when you're the ward? What are they to you?
Guardian.
Yeah. Her guardian has equivalent power with grandfather when he was still in the game instead of retired the way he is now. I don't know if you know what that means. It means we're kind of fucked.
Yeah, I've
I
had a
have to
couple
agree, you
days.
guys are kind of fucked, but I'll win. Death
Yeah,
arms later.
I've had a couple days to reflect on the situation, and I reacted in an emotional state.
And I don't blame you for it at all, but we have consequences to face. I
Yeah,
just hope he decides it's not worth going. And we literally told him everything. We're like, hi, this is our address. Here's a key to our apartment. Um, so it's not like he doesn't
yeah,
know where to find us.
yeah. I expect a
In
visit
fact, we may
eventually.
want to put a drift drive on the station and just drift somewhere else, further out.
Eh, yeah, I could see it
Ah,
that way, and I can also see she was causing problems for him, though. Remember,
I know.
he might be. Oh, thanks for freeing that headache of a situation for me, or something.
But look
I'm
at it
trying to
this
keep
way.
my hopes up. You know.
Look at it this way, dear. You are a headache of a situation for me, and because I'm your friend, I deal with it. But now it's a migraine. We're going to have to figure something out. Maybe if we make enough cash, we can bribe him to leave us alive. But right now, let's get Gormy back to life. Doctor, why don't you take the lead on this? You can come with us. Who knows? Maybe they even have some unfortunate trinkets on this planet.
Well, he seemed interested in that plant place or
Well, yeah, he
whatever
wants to go get his, necessities for his,
resupply.
yeah. I mean, he's been with us for 26 days. We may never get the smell of his herbs out of our clothes at this point. In fact, we may want to burn them and just buy new ones. No offense, Dr. Oglehop.
I think it's an added bonus. I'm kind of getting used to it a little bit myself, but whatever.
Honestly, in my experience, I think we're still better off just smoking straight hyperleaf rather than a concoction to do. I swear it's like 4% shit.
Yeah, I could
Mm.
kind of see that.
Alright, so let's start before we get too close by putting up our ad blocker
Right. I'm
so that
not in
we're
the
not
mood to deal with
bombarded. I mean, having not technically been to the Vesperian before, I don't know how bad it is here, but with the other places we've been, we might as well be prepared.
right. Let me just put up the little ad blocker thing so we don't run into random things popping up.
Mm. Beep, boop, 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 beep, boop, 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 boop. Ah, there it is.
Yeah.
All right,
So
so we go through the system to find a safe but not expensive landing area. And then, especially if we can find one somewhere in that general vicinity. I mean, like, is downtown a bad place to park?
there is a ship. There is like a place for ships to like their to land and what have you. But it's not directly downtown. Like you're probably gonna have to uh, get some means of transportation of getting from A to Z
That's
to
fine.
A.
We'll get that price in just a second. But right now, are we still charging landing fees to the company?
Whale, it kind of depends here, because you guys, while you're looking on the computer and whatnot, you see like on the newsreels, like there is a Vesk reporter on the like a Vesk woman reporter that pops up on their news, and it's like she's reporting, and she's like, and she's like, it is being called. It's being called a bold political hit in a move that that has been that critics have tied back to an Eoxian exile from the Pact worlds, the political, like the Pact World's government has had this to say, and it's like there's like a talk, like a representative that comes on, maybe a Lashunta woman, who's just like, we have no prior knowledge of this Miss Depfo or her activities. For that, you may refer back to EOX. I'm sure they have a better understanding of their own criminal records. The stewards are looking into this at this time, but this is not a. But this is in no way. But in this, we have no reason to suspect that this is a political hit in nature. Um, it's like, and there's like and then maybe there's an interview with an Eoxian like official that's like, it's like
Oh,
according to that's like
it's cousin Zetera.
it's like according to our records, it's like according to our records in
Zedra.
the Eoxian record legal records, Miss Defoe was charged with tax evasion and ran from the law to a distant system. There's a EOX categorically disclaims any hand in this apparent political assassination attempt. And it's like the wild footage coming out from the League of Helladis very clearly shows the suspects, and it's like you get like the sort of like security footage of you guys leaving, like first of Death Arms trying to sneak around the compound. He didn't realize how badly he actually failed his stealth roll. um, you and the very like dramatic scene of you guys trying to escape and the cops, the corporate security trying to stop you, and the fire and explosion and stuff. It was like it was like Clutchell, known to be the ward of the business magnate and one of the council of oligarchs, one Tyrus Skilled, uh, was a owner and proprietor of several corporations and several companies, including a perfume company. Whereupon this violent attack took place. The authorities are claiming, and it's more of the sort of the same news, like from what you get from this, somebody somewhere in the League of Helladis released a statement that this was a political hit, that this was motivated, you know, that this was, and there seems to be some insinuation that it's like a business rival in the Pact Worlds from like the official statements, but there's this undertone that you're getting that maybe there are some like other theories abound as to why you guys did it. Maybe tied to his economic and political rivals in the League of Helladis, perhaps. Like there's all kinds of speculation, like talking heads. Like the one thing they all agree on is this security footage shows, people that they now believe to be, violent criminals, in charge of a, sort of criminal operation, um, that has some sort of nefarious motives. Um, although
Kid, you
what those
can
motives
literally
are, they
feel
don't
my
know.
glare penetrating your skull right now.
Like I look at it and I'm like, political man, I just wanted my cousin. Ah, they're distorting it. Hi. It kind of looks back as you're glaring at him. So we're gonna land over there, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
You do get from the Vescarium sort of point of view. They're just sort of a sit back and watch sort of like attitude, because they don't really have near as much skin in the game. Like there's nothing that's tying this to them. Like there aren't really any theories tying it back to the Vescarium, because there's, for whatever reason, you know, they're more concerned about whether it's an internal thing or whether it's to do with the Pact Worlds, because because Philip is from the Pact Worlds and there's some, notoriety to her family.
I take a serum of sex change, and then I spend 20 on my disguise check. Or I spend 20. I take 20. So Now I'm just an 8 foot tall Labrian dude.
Okay.
Remember, that gives me a plus 15. So
Um,
look at this. Now I have to be a man.
well, Kib, your face is showing up there too. Like you and like all of you, including Dr. Oglehop, are pretty clearly on the camera.
Mm.
Yeah, they're all gonna know what we look like. So, I think, yeah, you're right. I opened up a bad can of worms.
But we'll deal with it. So, Doctor, do you have the ability to change your appearance just a little bit for us? Do you want me to try to do you so you look a little different so cops don't think anything about us?
The
Have you ever been a
does he
hobgoblin?
have like man, I'm a little too short to be a hobgoblin. Yeah, and I really feel last time I tried walking on stilts, it didn't go so well.
It's alright. We'll tell them that you were, your legs got caught cheaper. Anyway,
Uh,
that's okay. But we all. God, damn it. I mean, it's the best Beskarium. There's only like a 20% chance that they'd even fucking arrest him. But I'm already a man, so. Um, Kib, what if we change the color of your fur? Then you're just a different isekai. There. No one's seen a platinum isekai before. Just kidding. I'm platinum.
Wait, can we do this illusionary?
If you have illusions, use them.
Well, I have this spell,
Mm-hmm.
holographic something,
well,
holographic image. I
I
don't know
think
if that
there,
does the same thing.
no, I think there's a specific spell for what you're trying to
Yeah,
do.
it'd be
I
oh
think there's
god, there are
like a
feats for it.
disguise. Well, I think there's a disguise spell specifically for this.
But yeah,
Um,
your holographic image is the one that produces like the hey look, I'm over there too, like Total Recall style. Wow, it took us all the way back to the '90s, guys. Sorry about that. Um, so I take measures to fucking look different, and I do my best with those two, and then we head to the shop. I mean, technically, we could make Dr. Oglehop look different if we just made him put on a. They'd be like, oh no, that's not that guy. Totally
well,
talk.
it's a. I mean, he'll put on a like a hoodie and wear the hood up if it like if that helps. You know, he
If
generally
that's
likes
worth a
to wear
plus
what
two.
he you know
Yeah, that
uh
we. How about just taking off the robe and putting on this mask? See, now you're just a goblin in or not a trench coat, a lab coat.
yeah, disguise self is a first level spell. So
Hmm.
mm, if you have if you have any spells if you didn't choose all your spells from your last level up, then you could easily just say you have that spell. If you have an extra first level spell you didn't choose.
Hold on, look at it. I know 4.
And how many are you supposed to have for your level? Like you're a level 6 technomancer, right?
5.
5? Oh
Yeah,
yeah, that's right. You're level
he just
5.
got there first.
That's right. So you're a level 5 technomancer. How many first level spells are you supposed to know? Let me. Yeah, 4. You know your Spells known should be 4 for first level, 3 for second level.
Did you get any bonus spells that you forgotten about?
No, bonus spell. You don't get bonus spells known, only castable.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how many you can cast. It's the bonus spells. You
All
still
right.
only
I was
know a certain
confused.
number.
Yeah. Oh. So, I mean, either way, you guys are going to take 20 on disguises. Is that what I'm
Yeah,
reading here?
which would make my disguise 23 plus
Okay.
the 15 from being, or no, it's just plus 10. So plus 10 for being a dude, plus 23. So 33 for me.
All right.
And if I'm doing both of them, then it's, a 20. So we spend several hours getting ready before we make this trip.
Yeah. Yeah. You do manage to, so see, it'll cost you a little bit to get across town. Let me look
Oh, yeah,
at
we were
that.
going to talk about that, and then we got distracted with, let's say we can
Unless
take a
I don't,
taxi.
unless I don't remember if you guys took your um
It's gone.
buggy.
Oh, no, we still have the buggy.
Yeah.
And it's never been taken off the ship because, well, oh, wait, no. That's not true. I remember where the buggy is exactly.
Okay.
The buggy's in the casino, remember?
Okay.
Oh, so no. We take a
Mm,
cab.
all right. So let me
Or
look
we
at
take the
goods and
tubes as the Futurama asked, but I
services.
doubt it. So I can see
To,
lizards liking tubes.
let's see. Lodgings,
Say,
professional
it's,
services, recharging, transportation,
there you go.
grab train passage, robo taxi. So it kind of, let's see.
Robo taxi.
Yeah, robo taxi, 1 per 10 miles. Let's say. Um, well, then let's say that it's probably about 2 per person. Um, it's like
Oh. So a total of 6 or,
unless Death Arms is coming with you, then it's 8.
yeah, a total of 8. Sorry, Death Arms. I forgot you were following us. I don't know how
You
you
could
forget
always,
me. I'm awesome. I know. I know Death Arms. Um, so 8. And it's a RoboCab, which means I don't have to feel bad about not tipping. So 8. I got it. And spent. So
all right.
we make it downtown. Woo!
So you notice that, of course, obviously the majority of the population is still Vesk, but there are plenty of Patra, Skittermanders, some Ijtikri, but there's also, a number of people from more packed world locations, some humans, Isekai, elves, etc., etc. And you, Philip, do realize that at this point you are setting foot into another boss's territory in terms of the syndicate, the Grimbuckle Syndicate.
Hmm.
And
Well,
you know how criminal organizations work. You have
that
to have
means
a
I
meeting.
have to find
Yeah,
Shorthorn,
you have to
right? That's his name.
yeah, Scorf Shorthorn. Yeah.
You make a good fucking thing. Let's spend that first day together.
Yeah. So, um, as far as it goes, you have your dagger, your badge of office and whatnot, and your disguise. So it's not like you're giving away exactly who you are, but you can easily just wearing it on your hip, you're noticed by syndicate members, Grimbuckle syndicate members, and you know, um, I mean, it's not long before a couple of the syndicates, local, toughs, like sort of like approach you. One of them is a one of them's a Vesker. One of them's a big Vesk with like a mean-looking scar across his snout. And there's another one that's he's a Patra, but he's a Kravesh Patra. Like
Oh, look at him. He's a
so
big kitty.
so he's like almost as big. He's just about as big and muscular as the Vesk next to him. Like he's really like a stout-looking individual, and they both kind of see like, and you're confronted by them, and the
Well,
Vesk, the Vesk,
it's
yeah,
about time.
he's
Take
like
me there.
he's like he looks at your dagger. Like at first he looks at you kind of like suspiciously, and he looks at your dagger, and he's like, and he nods, and he's at your knife, and he kind of nods, and he goes, the boss will want to see you then. And he asked, does the boss know you're coming?
No, this was a unplanned adventure.
And it's like he goes, all right. He goes, and I think maybe he like the Patra beside him, like radios it in. Like you see him, well, maybe he doesn't even radio. He just pulls out a comms unit and like taps away with with his thumb real quick. And when he's done, he hits the send button, and he kind of looks around, and he kind of like keeps the stride. It doesn't take long before you find yourself at find yourself at what looks to be like a sort of like a warehouse district, with sort of like more industrial buildings and what have you. You're kind of led into you're kind of led into into like like you have to stop at the doorway. It's like there's the two toughs kind of check in. It's like there's a short conversation of like, did you catch the game the other day? Yeah, yeah. He goes, I think the he says uh, I think the Comet Falls are gonna win are gonna win the next the tournament. And he's like, nah, man, they've got a really good chance, but I don't think so. The way they were handling the ball last time, with their um, with their back line with half their back line injured, I don't think they're gonna make it. He's like, and then eventually a message comes down. It's like, and he's like, oh, and it's like, all right, the boss will see you now. And they lead you in, and like there's a small room, and when you're in this small room, they hand you they hand you gas masks, each of you. He's like, he goes, the Kravesh who looks at Patra looks at you and says, you'll want to wear these when you're in here. He goes, he goes, you'll want to wear these while you're in here. He goes, you don't want to breathe these fumes. And they're and they pass them out to you. Like Dr. Oglehop looks at his, flips it upside down, and kind of stares at it briefly, seems to space off, and eventually puts it on correctly. Um, and he kind of like maybe the vest kind of snorts at this display of apparent buffoonery. Just like, how about the rest of you?
Somewhere on this journey, I've also reminded Veskarium. Um,
You are cutting out.
can you hear me now?
Yeah.
So at some point before we made it here, I reminded Kib that Vesk.
Wow. You're still having the issue.
Let me see. Hang on.
Um, maybe slower or back the mic up a little.
Is it better if I put the mic down?
You didn't cut out in that short bit.
How about now?
No?
Okay,
Seem to be good.
let's try one more time. We'll see. I said, at some point I will remind Kib that the Vesk will eat him if he gets too out of line here.
Right. So Kib stays in line. He puts the gas mask on. Has a
Mm.
slight memory that says, "Are you my mummy?" Never mind. Sorry.
That was an interesting flashback. So yeah, we comply. I mean, why wouldn't we?
Alright, yeah. So as you kind of like, he takes you up like you had to go up some stairs just to get to this room, but like as you walk out of this room, you're on catwalks overlooking overlooking a floor filled with individuals who appear to be working on something. Who it well they Dr. Oglehop is probably just gonna be like, oh, drug factory. I get it. I get it. Pharmaceuticals, like he starts trying to ask questions about like what chemical bases they're using. Like, it's like, so what bases are you using on this? Like, is it all like synthetic or is any of it organic? I mean, is there like a combination or what the percentage is? And like the Kravesh is like, I don't know, little goblin. He's like, he goes, he's not my job. Uh, and he's but Dr. Oglehop, unless somebody like stops him, will continue to ramble on about what he thinks might be in it. Um,
Doctor, later.
he's like, huh? Oh, yeah, yeah. He goes, okay, okay. I'll tour the facility more clearly later, right? I mean, there's a tour, right? The Vesk actually seems to get a small smirk on his face. He seems to be a bit more amused by Dr. Oglehop than his partner is. But you eventually get to what you like. You can see the office from across the walkways, the catwalks and floor, as they kind of lead you across. And there's there's plenty of vapors coming off of like these areas where there's like sort of liquid, like it looks like long, sort of like channels of liquid leading into like industrial sized like containers and what have you. And it's like as they lead you over there, you can kind of see Scorf on the other side of the on the other side of the like window and whatnot. He seems to be talking to somebody. He does not look happy at all. Um, with his one horn that's shaved about half off, and when the when you get to the door, like when you get to the landing and go around to the door, they like you hear him say like, "Do you think He go like, "What? You think I'm amused here? You think I'm amused with all of this?" He goes, "You have created more headaches than you are worth." He goes, if you, he goes, yeah, and he's like, no, I understand under your last boss, this was okay. Inefficiency was okay. Getting the leaking information was okay. The whole thing was running like shit. He goes, because of people like you. And he's like, and he starts talking, he's like, he goes, the organization functions only when people are competent and do their jobs right, not screw up continuously. And he's just pointing. He looks very angry, and so you can hear him through the deal. And at one point, he turns around to one of his guards and pulls a rather long knife off of one of his Veskarium guards like hip and just plunges it into this poor guy into um this poor other Vesk's like chest, like just stabs him right in the chest. And this Vesk that he's dressed that he had been dressing down and has now stabbed just kind of looks at him for a second and goes to take a swing and raises his arm back like he's gonna swing, and Scorf just sort of like headbutts him right in the mouth real fast, and catches him off guard. He kind of falls to the ground. This seems to be like the last of his sort of strength there, because he kind of like is bleeding out at this point and kind of like slumps to the floor. And he's like, you hear him yelling, you, clean this mess up, get him out of here. And it's like, like the and like a couple of his goons like grab the body of this vest that he just dressed down and stabbed, and you know goes, starts carrying him out, and the door opens, and it's like the vest guard who's escorted you is like, the boss will see, and he's like, and he just kind of like motions for you to go in.
Hello.
He's like, he kind of turns around, wiping some blood off of his brow, and he goes, and he goes, "Who are you? What are you doing here?" And he goes, "What business do you have? Why do you have?" And he goes, "Wait a minute. I'm not a fool. I've had to travel in disguise before." He goes, "Everybody, clear the room."
I,
And
I,
I half turned to leave.
yeah, he doesn't stop you from leaving. He's
yeah. I
like
look at the doctor and I'm like, shoot.
and then Dr. Oglehop goes, "Oh, oh, okay. Hey, man." And as he's walking out, he looks over at like the patra that is not amused with him. "Hey, man, you guys got like anything to drink or maybe some sandwiches while we wait? This might. It seems like this might take a while." Because
Mm.
you just hear like a groan and a sigh as the door closes by the last one, person leaves. And he goes, "All
Well,
right,
Sean, it's time to pick you up.
nice." And he kind of looks over, he kind of looks at you once everybody's left the room, and he's like, "All right, so which one are you?"
Mm, the one you don't like.
He goes, "One of the new ones, huh?"
Well, I mean, just as new as you. We did have a long conversation where you complained about me the entire time. Otherwise, hi, it's me, Philip, in disguise, just as you said.
He goes, "All right, Mr. Foe. So what's uh what's the newest territories boss doing on my territory? What are you here for?"
I need someone brought back from the dead.
He laughs. He goes, "Brought back from the dead." He goes, "What? You ain't got no priests on your station?"
I actually start laughing at that. I'm like, honestly, I didn't even think about him. But I would hate to owe him a favor. I'd rather owe two to you.
And he goes, "Oh, so you come here looking for my help in this situation then?
If you can provide it.
So why is it that what makes this case so special that you can't just go hire a priest from one of the temples out there?"
Lack of funds at this moment.
Lack of funds. And he goes,
Mm. Hence why I spoke of favors. Or at the very least, compound entrance from payments of, a percentage of my newly created starship building, and we also have a shopping mall that just opened up.
"You willing to send me a kickback cut? Is that what you're saying?"
That is definitely what I'm saying. But at this point, unfortunately, due to my inability and my pilots, as I shake my head back to Kib, who's standing outside the door. Uh, the door's shut, of course, but I assume it's glassy. So I could be wrong. But anyway, the Yusukai that's with me, Kib. Um, but we took too long in drift, so it's got to be Barai or nothing. And I
Well,
normally go home for that, except I can't go home, and that's even before that stupid fucking rat.
He's
Made
like,
me a new enemy. I'm
he's
sure you've
like,
seen it. We saw it coming in, so
yeah, he's like, yeah, I saw the reports. He says, your business in your territory is your business in your territory. I don't care what you was doing and why you was doing it. And so he goes, but if you're willing to, what kind of percentage are we talking about here? Before we get too deep, let's talk business.
7%.
He's like, 7? He goes off a starship business? Big money, but I think you can do better.
Well,
Don't worry, I'm not gonna hang you out to dry. But 7% for something like this?
all right. How about 15% for 5 years?
He goes, 15 for 5 years? He goes, it's a little bit more generous than what I was necessarily thinking. He says, for 15% 5 years, over 5 years, I could make that deal. I might know a guy.
Hmm.
Now, it's a bit risky. He's shady. I can't necessarily guarantee a whole lot. And he goes, and if it doesn't work out, maybe we'll drop that percentage back down to a couple of points. He says, um, he goes, I'm not a complete asshole. He's like, so perhaps, he goes, there's a guy I know. So they call him the Heretic. You ever hear of the Shadari Confederacy or have any dealings with the Dralic?
Hmm. I think I remember a little bit about it. I'm not exactly sure how much at this moment.
So the Dralic and 25 culture roll is pretty good. So the Dralic and the Shadari Confederacy. The Dralic are a species of aliens that the Shadari Confederacy is sort of like the systems that represent their home space. Um, they tend to be all about entropy, but they're kind of different from the Cult of Devourer because the Cult of Devourer, they actually kind of find them offensive because the Cult of the Devourer is all about like bring everything down right now, right now, right now. And the Dralic tend to be the kind of people who are like, no, if you do that, you're cheapening the fucking process of the slow decay of natural decay of entropy.
Hmm.
Um, they're generally known to have a very cult-like religious following to this sort of belief system. You know, and
Now it
they're
makes more
often
sense
tied
why I
to,
know about them.
they're often tied to much more criminal enterprises. In fact, your grandfather probably might have had dealings with the Dralic at some point.
Oh, I'm
And
sure.
he's like, he says, now normally these guys are all about the slow decay of entropy. Now he's not gonna necessarily want to bring your friend back as a Borai. They tend to figure what's done is done. You know. However, this one ain't called the heretic for nothing. He can be convinced of some stuff here and there. He's he goes, I don't know what his real name is. He goes, but I can tell, he says, but I can put you in contact with him. I got some backdoor dealings. For the right price, the right argument, he probably knows more about death and decay and that sort of thing than anybody else I know about. If there's a way to do it, if there's a way to do it, he might actually be in on it. You might be able to get him to, you might be able to get him to like help you out with this. It
Okay.
was there are those that there's a lot of people what don't trust him. I mean, there's always that element that is he there as a spy for Shadari Confederacy? Where do his loyalties really lie? personally, I know him well enough to know that enough credits and a good argument, and he's a bit more mercenary. He's a lot less dogmatic about his beliefs than others of his
Hmm.
kind.
So, Ha. And Ha opens my backpack and flies up and out. And I'm like, send him the PDF copy of the contract so that printed, and then electronically sign for it as well as the hard copy for 15% of earnings for the from the what did I call it? I gave it a name. Damn it. It's Lichdom something.
Lichdom Corporation?
Hang on. The station. Sorry about that. Lichdom Corporation has the same picture as the station at the moment. Lichdom Luxury Liner and Ship Design. That's the name of the shipbuilding area.
All right. Yeah, he's like, he's like, he's like,
And Ha says, and I'm like, fine, please, Ha. And Ha's like, you're welcome.
he's like, yeah, I think he's like, he goes, I look forward to, I look forward to seeing the cut off of this. He goes, pleasure doing business with you. This is,
Well, and this is the
oh,
best time to get into this because I'm currently starting to supply ships for the Velquin.
the Velquin Empire, huh?
Hmm.
So you picked a side in the war. I mean, as
Well,
if there's any other choice. I mean, those human supremacists says that they do business with you anyway.
loyalties to people that I'm in business with are important to me. Uh, you'll get those checks on time.
Mm.
And business will pick up, I'm sure.
He's like,
We're
he's
currently
like,
in negotiations with the Amber Wreath for luxury liners as well.
he goes, yeah, that's the syndicate's really been earning some of the other syndicate council members have been really burning for more information on the wreath. He
Mm.
goes, yeah, he goes, anything you feel like sharing, I would be interested in listening to. He goes,
As soon as I
yeah.
have any information that we both know already know, may this be the beginning of an excellent business relationship.
He goes, let's hope so. He goes, unfortunately, you're not here enough you haven't been here long enough to have known how inefficient my predecessor was, and your territory just was added to the syndicate's roster of territories with influence. So you don't exactly have a predecessor for me to look back on. So it's a brand new relationship in all fronts.
It is.
And it's like he goes, by the code of the syndicate, he says, by the code of the syndicate, and since you have properly come to see me, I am obliged to offer you a place to stay while you're here in Vest Prime with amenities within reason. He goes, he goes, you got any idea as to length of your stay?
How far away is this guy that we have to go see?
He's like, there's the
Is he
heretic
here?
is the heretics on the heretics on Vest 7. But I would,
Ah,
he says, but I would, he says, but I would hope that you would join me for the customary tea this evening. At least stay one night for the hospitality.
by the code, I shall do so.
He's
But
like,
also by the code, I will have my taste tester with me.
probably, he goes, you know, you're smarter than some of the others. He goes, I'll give you that. He goes, he's like, but I'm not like that representative from House Zemlathi that they have keep hanging around.
True,
I, s-
but he's the only one that can provide us with lineages of poison that don't show up on a normal autopsy.
he goes, that's what I worry about sometimes. Could be a handy tool, could be a very dangerous bit of knowledge for somebody whose political leanings within the syndicate are still a bit of a question. And
Mm,
he's like, your entourage will be provided for just as you will. And he goes, we've got a room set. He goes, I'll have a suite set aside for you, and a couple of rooms for you, and a room for your entourage as well.
thank you.
He goes, and he's
Should you
like,
ever have to come to my space station, I will reserve the penthouse.
he goes, he goes, he goes, if you'll exchange me, he says, if you'll leave your comm number with us, we'll make sure we send you the information on what hotel we've got you set up in.
Right, that should actually be on the paperwork that we just signed. So you
He's
got
like,
that.
he goes, he goes, in the meantime, he says, in the meantime, um, consider yourself a guest in the territory. I'll put word out that you're to be treated as that you and your entourage are to be treated as family. You'll find the syndicate members here uh, will be on their best toast. They'll be on their best behavior,
Mm,
especially after dealing with that asshole. And he points in the general direction they dragged the body off to. His word gets around. Sometimes you got to make an example.
right.
He-
I have a
He's
corpse
like,
recycler to help accelerate those thoughts.
he kind of chuckles. He goes, you know, sometimes that sounds like that'd be a bit easier than having to dissolve a body in acid, find some convenient place to stash them. Uh, you know,
In the right
however,
restaurant, it'd be a delicacy.
he goes, he kind of goes, yeah, that's not exactly my cup of tea, but I understand he says, I understand there are a few dangerous individuals that ISIG really likes that are hanging out in your system that do.
That is true. So what are you doing with that button? There, kid, I asked. But anyway, I'll get out of your hair for now. We have a curio shop to go to. Also, I know this is a random one, but do you know where they sell unfortunate trinkets on this planet?
He goes, yeah. He goes, it's a relatively popular cereal. He goes, shit, I could get you a crate if you need it.
How much would a crate cost?
He goes, your family, as it were. He goes, one crate falling off the back of a grav truck won't cost me anything at all. Just you know, couple of hours and maybe a few blind eyes. But those are already out there.
Well, I appreciate it. My goblin eats 3 boxes a day.
He goes, he goes, he kind of chuckles. He's like, well, he goes, this'll keep him in it for a while then, I suppose.
All right. Well, yeah, we have to hide it from him. Otherwise, literally 3 boxes a day. But
He's
he's a
like,
good goblin.
here's, he goes, everybody's got their entourage. And he kind of shrugs. He goes,
All right.
yeah,
But
yeah.
anyway, thank you again. Uh, do I need to check in with you before I leave planet?
He goes, just
Oh
make
wait, yeah, we
sure.
have the ceremony. My bad.
He goes, he goes, tea ceremony tonight. He goes, and he's like, he goes, He goes, tonight after dinner, he goes, after dinner time, I'll have my assistant send you the exact time.
All right. And like I said, it's right there. And I point on the docu file.
Yeah. So he sets that sets that up. Yeah.
And I'm like, I open the door and I'm like, okay, big guy, lead us out of here.
Yeah. And
Uh,
the vest kind of looks at you. The
oh, I
the
holler, aha. I'm like, ha, come on. We got stuff to do.
yeah.
Okay.
The entire time you've been out here, Dr. Oglehop has been about one step away from getting himself eaten. Not by the Vesk, but by the Patra, because he keeps kind of annoying him. He seems to have this thing that he just latches on to talking to people who find him the most annoying. Um,
I keep quiet the whole time and just let him ramble on, and I just
yeah,
stand back by the door to like either side, like the left side of it, just stand outside the door and just keep quiet.
yeah, he's just like, yeah. After a while, Philip comes out, and uh, Philip, you come out and you to sort of this scene of Kib standing quietly for once, and Doctor Oglehop annoying the shit out of the Patra by rambling on about the genetic similarities between, or the genetic similarities between different species. Coming from different worlds, talking about like genetic similarities and evolutionary processes, which the Patra seems not only not interested in, but relatively annoyed by.
Hmm.
Um,
I go, doctor, it's time
oh, time for what, man? Is it party
to go to
time?
that shop.
Oh, a
No,
shop?
it's not adventure time either. It's time to go shopping.
Oh, man. Here's For a minute, I thought it was time to get ill. I heard that somewhere.
Mm.
I don't know where, man. You know where I heard
Perhaps it's
that?
time to rock a rhyme.
And he goes, nah, that doesn't sound right.
Okay.
And he kinda, and he kind of
Remember the
seems
way to the
distracted, I
shop.
thought. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
because we're being amenity, does that mean that when we get outside this building, there's a limo type vehicle to take us to this curio shop?
Yeah, while you're here, like Shorthorns and his people will see to your transportation and lodgings.
We,
Um,
by the way, I'm super happy that that went well. I'd much rather have Shorthorn be an ally, even if it's based off of cash flow, than an enemy.
yeah,
And
well,
now he's somewhat invested in my life because if I die, he doesn't.
yeah.
Uh, these are the things that go through my mind, and then I shake my head. No, that's not how it works. All right, kid, by the way, good job. Doctor,
He looks at you, huh?
I have managed to acquire you a crate, which I believe is 12 boxes, if I remember right, of unfortunate trinkets for you. They should be on the ship when we get back.
A whole box of a whole crate of
No,
fortunate
a whole
trinkets.
crate, yes.
He goes, a crate of fortunate trinkets, man. Right on. He goes, and it's so hard to get shipments of that out there. I mean, it's like the only
Yes,
bad thing.
yes. But by the time we get back, you should be able to go to the mall.
And he goes, hey, he's like,
Maybe get a second job, work at the Strawberry Julio.
he's like, uh,
I
he's
don't
like,
know.
I
We'll come
like
up with a better name for our
strawberries.
frozen restaurant. But
Mm,
anyway,
he,
so we go downtown and show up at the shop that he thinks we need to go.
yeah. Well, like, the plate, you see the Paper Leaf Tea Trading Company thing across the street, but,
Mm.
you know, like, you already got some information from Scorp Shorthorn, but you
That
do
is
have
true, but go ahead.
but you but, Dr. Oglehop is more than pleased to peruse the shop on that's across the street that he was talking about that he's been to before. Like
I give him 100 credits, and I'm like, "Do your shopping. We're gonna go across the street
yeah,
for a little bit."
yeah. Yeah, so the Paper Leaf Tea Trading Company here operates like a much more in a much more professional way because this is a storefront, right? So like
Right.
they have like actual people like working, making the tea. They have people,
Right.
serving at tables, but they also have like the kiosk for buying, for arranging, buying in bulk or arranging for buying larger packages as small. And there's an area off to the side for shopping for like more individualized, uh, a box at a time of various different types of teas and what have you.
Right.
Um, but it's
Hey,
staffed by,
Kib,
Yes, ma'am,
it's Sir right now. Remember?
sir.
All right. But anyway, so honestly, this is the place where we should probably, since we're already here, attempt to use those buy points for the shuttle. What do they
For
call it?
the
you're
build
talking about,
point.
yeah.
Yeah, build points. We have 12 build points that we could use to get cargo.
Yeah.
And this is kind of semi fancy cargo because we're actually in a place that's not. So I walk up to one of the clerks and I'm like, "Hello, I need to see the manager, please."
Like, I think the you're talking the one there is a Skittermander that is like he's where like
Oh, well, then I lean way, way down and I'm like, "Hello, could I speak to your manager?"
and I think he's like got a I'm trying to just think what color fur is. We'll give him
Roll a d12.
a no, we'll make him blue. Yeah,
Okay.
he's still blue furry. Skittermander. He's like he's like the manager is not here, or maybe they right? The manager's not here. And he kind of turns around and looks at the human woman that's, sitting behind the counter where you order tea, and she just kind of shrugs and looks sort of disinterestedly back to looks at him disinterestedly and shrugs and kind of goes back to helping the customer that she's helping.
Mm.
And he's and
Could you go
like
see?
but you give me a perception check here. You and Kip both.
Okay. Kib, see if you can see anything.
Okay. Yeah. So he kind
Ah,
of
that's my third one of the night.
mm, uh yeah, so he looks around and he's like there's no he goes the manager is on vacation, I think.
Well, then
And
who's in charge?
he goes, "Oh, in charge." So he goes, "That's a really good question. Is there
Yeah.
anybody in charge?" And again the girl
Wait,
sort of
is
like,
this does this Skittermander actually work here, or am I bothering like an actual person, a non-employee?
well, He it like people seem to be treating him like he works here, but the girl at the counter looks at him and gives a shrug,
Hmm.
and he's just got and um give me a sense motive here.
I expect nepotism in all of this. That's what you got. Kib, sense motive.
Okay. Yeah. And he kind of looks at you and he goes, but I'm Tresmelic. He goes, he goes, he's like, what are you here for? You want to buy, um, he goes, can I interest you in? And he starts rattling off different kinds of tea. He's
Silver
like,
Soul sent me.
he goes, "Uh, Silver Soul." He goes, he looks at the girl at the counter and he's like, hey, who's Silver Soul? And again, she just looks at him and shrugs and like,
One moment, my dear little friend. Hi. You have pretty eyes. Do you know who the manager is?
she looks at you and she looks at you and she shrugs helplessly. She's like, I don't know what to tell you.
Are you sure?
she's like, she's like, seriously, she goes, she goes, you could be at this all day. Mhm.
Fine.
She's like, uh,
How long
and
have you been employed here?
she goes, a couple of weeks. I don't know, maybe 3.
Okay.
And she,
Fine. So, where in this building have you been told you should never?
where I should never go?
Mm-hmm.
Well, nowhere really. I mean, I don't like going to the manager's office to get, you know, to get stuff and whatnot. I mean, I feel like
And it's that way.
she's like, sir, I can't let you just go back to the manager's office. She's like, it's employees only.
I work here.
She's like, uh, she's like, she's like, you're funny, but you don't work here. He's like,
I'm from corporate.
"Oh,
This is all based off that diplomacy of 30. If you'd like me to bluff, I'll fail. But
In
right.
the back, in the back of the store, I'm gonna make the sound doing whatever of ghost sounds of things falling over and breaking.
All right. Yeah.
the DC
She's
for that is 13, I believe.
yeah. Okay. Well, we'll give her a roll to see if she believes or not. Yeah. She's like, damn pests, and and she kind of looks over at Trasmelech, uh, who who is greeting somebody else who's walked in the door. He's like, "Hi, welcome to Paperleaf Tea Trading Company." And again, she just shakes her head and shrugs, and she's like, "Look, unless you're gonna order something, unless you're gonna order something, I need to get back to work." And there's like a
Okay, get back
line.
to work.
There's a line like forming like where you've been like behind you. Like so there's some Vesk in the back that's like every single time I'm on my break, 15 minutes to get back to like
Oh, well, then get up here, my friend.
it's like
And
um
as soon as he starts in on her, I walk to the manager.
you know, he doesn't start in on her. He doesn't blame her. and and she and like she doesn't exactly stop you from going back, but the big Vescarium that's watching that door does.
Ah, hi, buddy. I'm here to see the guy in that box.
Not in.
So,
So hold on.
go
I,
ahead.
I just mean to ask you. You're guarding an empty room, right?
From people like him who tried to just walk back here.
I just want clarification that you're getting paid to
Clarification.
stand and guard an empty door.
You're
That's
absolutely
a
right.
cool job. I've got to say, sorry, I don't mean. That is awesome. You just can stand here and guard. That's awesome. All right, have a nice day. And I turn around and go be like, look at the
Right?
inventory.
He's like, yeah, sure. There's plenty of really nice looking teas here. There really is, and they do have a good selection. Um, the Skittermander continue. You hear the Skittermander in the background going, like, oh, we've got a fine selection over there. And he's starting to rattling off some of the names of the teas. He's like, we've got the Racadian tea over here, and the Racadian light, the decaf, and it's like it's like, and for outfitting needs, we've got and if you're going out to find to help find your own biological specimens, perhaps find your own new kinds of tea leaves and whatnot, we've got an expedition outpost here and here, and let's see. Is Death Arms with you?
Yeah.
I'll roll. I would allow a sense motive or perception roll from him as well.
Okay. Scott, that's you. Will you open up Death Arms and Sense Motive so he?
Sense motive on him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I'm pretty sure
yeah.
How doesn't have Sense Motive.
Yeah. Well,
Let's look.
would not make any sense, but okay.
That's why I said I'm pretty sure he doesn't.
Hmm.
There we go. Nope. He can percept things, but he can't sense them. Okay. It was worth a shot. So, do you know who the boss is?
Asking.
The best?
He's like he kind of chuckles at that. He goes is uh he kind of chuckles at that. He goes, can't really say. Hmm.
Uh, in that case, I walk back to you. You said his name was Tresidence?
Presmelic.
Tresmelic.
Yep.
Okay. And I go, and I take out Silver Soul's card and hand it to him, and I'm like, I have business with you.
He's like, he looks around and he goes, with me? He goes, and he kind of looks around and he's like, he kind of looks around and he goes, well, I have a fine assortment of teas over here. He goes, but if tea isn't your thing, we've got some coffee too. He goes, the miners on Esperos 3 have a really nice strong blend. It's very rich. Not for everybody, but and he's kind of talking and whatnot. And I think like since it's been several minutes, like you see there's a moment where like Dr. Oglehop comes in, he's like he's like, hey man, he's like, I was gonna ask you, how mad would you be if I like brought like a pet like back with me? Like I swear he's not that big and and just about the size of maybe a crest eater. Um which, Death Arms would know because crest eaters are like really big traditional like hunting creatures that the Kasathans hunt. Like they're sort of like a natural danger on Kasath that have sort of followed them into. They're like culturally very important. Um,
I stop him and
but
I go, nothing
he's
bigger than you.
he's like, and he kind of goes, "Oh man," and he looks over at Trez Melick and he goes, "Hey Trez," he goes, "what you been up to, man?" And Trez Melick goes, he's like, "Oh," he goes, "wait a minute, Oglehop?" He's like, "Hey," and he's like, and Dr. Oglehop is like, he goes, how's business, man? He goes, last time I was here, like we toasted your promotion. And he goes, promotion? He goes, oh. He goes, wait a minute. He goes, oh yeah, I did get promoted, didn't I? Wait a minute. He goes, I got promoted. And he's like, he
You
goes,
are the boss.
he go, and Dr. Oglehop is like, "Yeah, of course he's the boss, man. Like they promoted him like 2 years ago, and he was just like because he was like so good at managing the inventory, he was like their best salesperson. Like this guy is great. Like he sell like I bought like 3 cases of tea. I mean, technically my former captain paid for them, but it was my idea, and everybody really liked it. The tea. It was a uh and like there's a bit of back and forth. He's like, what blend was that? He goes, and he's like, oh man, it was the. It was like, I think that was the. I think that was the Velen brew maybe. And he goes, and they start debating over what tea it might have been. He's like, he goes, he's
So,
like,
Mr. Boss, can we go to the office and talk?
he goes, oh yeah, yeah, the office. I have an he goes, you like his office is like small,
Yeah,
but
fuck yeah.
it's cool. He's
Right,
like
he's got a big dude guarding it right now.
yeah, and the uh give me one more sense motive here for everybody.
Don't forget Death Arm, Scott.
Okay.
Hang on. There's still a hope. Acrobatics. Ah, for Desna.
Ooh. So Philip, looking around the room, you get the sense of people just sort of like there's that feel of like disappointment almost and a bit of like face palminess going on here, and it's suddenly becomes kind of clear what's been going on this whole time. You realize this is in this moment, you realize you put it all together, all the like resignated sighs, the chuckles, you know, you realize that every time this is the point where you realize that every time Tresmelic asked the girl at the counter like who the manager was or made some comment about it, it wasn't Tresmelic that she was looking at when she sighed. She was looking at her coworkers, and you start to get the picture that this is not exactly a unique thing. And the aura of
Right.
disappointment here was maybe they were wondering how long this would go on before you figured it out.
That was
Like
why I went back to him. I was like, all
you,
right,
yeah,
so I'm going to guess and
yeah,
assume that it's the most annoying person in the room,
yeah.
but
It's
not the
like,
human.
yeah, they like you get the sense that like there was, and he goes, Dr. Oglehop like, you got the he light the Tresmelic leads you back to the room, the manager's office, but Dr. Oglehop but Dr. Oglehop probably just kind of looks at the others and they give him a bit of a dirty look because he kind of spoiled their fun.
Mhm.
like, like
When I walk past the desk, I'm like, hey, thanks for the help.
he just kind of he just kind of shrugs. He's like, eh. And like you get back to the back and to the manager's office, and he sits down in his chair. He's like, "So, since I'm the boss here, what? Who are you, and what can I do for you?"
Hello. Hi. I'm Johnny Cat. No. Um, hello. I come from the Dredge system. I have business with Agent Silverchild, and I came here
Silver
looking for help.
Soul.
So, damn it, I had it right the first two times. Silver Soul.
Yep.
Because I
And
did say it right the first two times. Damn it.
yep.
Alright, so what was it? And I did give you the card, you just never looked at it because you got interrupted by the doctor.
Here's so what can I do for you?
Upgrades. Cargo. Do you have things that you need to ship or whatever type thing? I don't know.
Oh,
Like we can
So
purchase cargo. I don't
so the trade system.
like so this would count for culture check to see if you can find somewhere to buy something here.
Oh, well,
Where
we
is
assume there might be things to buy here. You're right for that. Very well.
let's see.
Adjusted 20.
That's the 20. Okay. What page am I looking for? It's been a minute since I opened this book up. That is not it. That is Starship Options. That is Races, Heavy Industry, Exploration, Drift Lanes. Where is it? Expanded downtime. 166. That's the page I'm looking for.
Yeah, just got there.
Mm, 66. Oh, let me.
10 plus 1.5 times. Then take the
Cargoes.
cumulative.
Find cargo. All right, let's see. Find cargo. Visiting settlement support. Must be within a settlement. 1.5 times the 10 plus 1.5 times your character level. So that's 2, 7, 17 DC. You rolled a 20, so on a success you find 1d4 lots of cargo. So let's see how many. I think so I think he's able to point you in a direction. He's like, he goes, like, I don't have anything right now, but he goes, I can point you in the direction of somebody who can.
Ah, I see. Being with Dr. Wolhoff too long makes you talk like him.
Yeah, I'm getting my. He goes, well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't have anything right now, but I could probably point you in the direction of somebody who can. So success, let's see, the cargo, 24 lots. So you'll find 3 lots of cargo. And that's it. 3 ceramics or glassware. It's like maybe it's glassware. Like he can find you like a the contact he gives you has some glassware they need delivered. Let's see. Okay. There's 8. Publication. Oops. So 8 would be. Yeah, so that's going to be out in the vast, which may as well be at the in the drage system or close to it. Perhaps it'll
Actually,
be
that would be funny.
no,
We'd be delivering silver souls.
no, well, because it's not from him. It's actually it's going to be the Verilax Concordance that it's
That's clear.
that they want it done sent to.
Wait, are those the fucking humans that hate everyone?
No, the Verilax Concordance is actually the same place where you need to go to see Sothki Marins to
Oh,
fight
nice.
Sothki Marins. It's
2
also
for
the
1, kid.
place. It's also the place that Seven Regal Seven and his aide apparently were operating out of. The so-called android prince
Oh, the one
came
that
through your
hates Kib?
station. Well, the one that came, he didn't. You guys never actually met him because you never took the time to meet with him. Let's
Mm,
see what the complication is here.
he hates us.
9. It's
Strange
ill.
customs.
It's illegal cargo, as a matter of fact. So I
Oh.
think I know what this is. It's glass. It's glassware, but it's what it is ceremonial glassware for. It is ceremonial glassware for some orders of psychics, for some psychic orders. But the thing about it is that in the Verilax Concordance, because they're a technomagocracy, they have outlawed psychics like telepaths and telepathy is like very highly controlled, very illegal. And this glassware is that you're delivering is used by a particular order of psychics that have been named a direct like threat, a direct illegal organization within the boundaries of the Verilax Concordance. So,
Okay, so
but
remind me how many points that cost?
let's see the results special. Let's see. I put up 1d4. Cargo's total buy price equals 1d4 plus the number times the number of lots. You didn't succeed it by 5, but so that's slash R 1d4. 3 times 3 is 9. So it'll cost 9 build points.
Ah, Scott, that sucks. Sorry, kid, that sucks.
Why does that suck?
Because the lowest speed smuggler's compartment costs 4, which puts us
Mm.
1 over our max of 12. Kib, you're gonna have to put it in your butt. Well, he didn't disagree.
I got a cheap pouch, maybe. But
Eh,
No, you can't
I
fit a
don't think
whole
it will
lot of
work.
card. Yeah, that's not going to work out.
yeah, sucks. Well, we're gonna have to play it safe when we deliver this. Hopefully, they don't have
Can we
Scanish.
shrink it? Shrink one
No.
pallet to where it's smaller, make it look smaller.
Nope.
Can we take apart our bulkheads and safely store it inside of them?
Um, nope.
Okay. Well, that was my 2 ideas.
Do we have to take all 3? What if we just take 2?
Got to be all 3.
I don't know. I can't think. That was my idea.
Okay, I got it all written down. We're down to three, and we have 3 lots of psychic glass. All right. We'll figure it out.
Well, I mean, you have to. Yep, it definitely means you'll have to figure out what you're doing here. Um,
Okay, so we give them the coordinates to our ship are so it can be dropped off there.
yeah, and they do have people that will load that for you on this end. You don't know
Yeah.
on the back end in the Verilex Concordance, you're not sure. Um, but you know, it depends on the buyer. They may have people to unload it, or they may have you unload it personally. You don't know yet.
And that's fine. One piece at a time. There you go. No, we appreciate that. So, because we already have the whole thing that we already set up, Shorthorn, which was a excellent political move on my part. That's really all the basic business we have with you. Um, why all the
Theatric.
subterfuge of the subterfuge of the manager not being.
He goes. He's like, well, he goes. You'd be surprised how many people come through here that just want to talk to a manager and they just don't understand how this stuff works. Yeah, the Vescarium, they like to threaten people, and it's part of how they do business. And my people aren't exactly well regarded in terms of respect when it comes to our larger uh, our larger fellow citizens. Is and to be honest with you, he goes, and to be honest with you, uh, it's a little bit of a game. See if you're smart enough to know to figure out what's happening.
Well,
Here's
whether I was smart
Yeah,
enough or not,
or not.
I did guess.
he's like, well, guesses don't count. He goes, but for Dr. Oglehop, he goes, for my old friend, Dr. Oglehop, is you're gonna have to bring me back some of that stuff that you got last time. And it's like Dr. Oglehop's like, oh man, I think I'm working on something even better. Like I had a guy that was share a lab with, or I still do, but he's always busy, and he fed peanut butter to the plant, and it killed it. So I had to start over from scratch. So, as I'm doing something different now, a little bit better. And it's like, well, oh, you'll have to bring some by. He's like, and I think Tresmolak is like, eh. Besides, he goes to, it's kind of a tradition within the paper leaf tea trading company to, these sort of games as far as like, well, salesmanship is a big deal. Like everybody has to be able to sell, but everybody has also got to be able to blend into the background. There's a fine art to being a big enough personality to sell the product, but not threatening enough to be not threatening enough to bring down anger. Is from the dissatisfied ones. Goes, you know that there are some vests that are so picky about their tea that they'll threaten to eat you if you get the wrong shipment in. He goes, he goes, then he goes, anyway, all fun and games aside, he goes, and he goes, all fun and games aside, he goes, there's, uh, he goes, here's the contact information for the individual that's going to be for the, let's see, you'll be. He goes, when you get to. I wish I could tell. Says I don't. He says neither myself nor your new client, your seller, know exactly where they're gonna be, who you're gonna be taking it to, but you're gonna be looking for the Varant circle.
I want to spell that. Kib, are you there?
Yeah, I was nowhere close to spelling it right.
Oh, okay.
It's like
Everybody got quiet, so I was like, wait, did I lose?
the Varant circle, like uh, they're the big, they're the organization that or I think they're like supposed to be like a religious organization, right? And like Dr. Oglehop is saying, right. He goes, well, quasi-religious. I've never quite understood exactly what the Vermont Circle, what their mission statement is, so to speak, but I do know that they're very good at collecting information. I mean, they're psychics. They read people's minds. So he goes, he goes, for what it's worth, he goes, I don't know what it's like in this Veront, or I don't know what it's like in this Verilax Concordance. He goes, because I've never been there. I hear weird rumors about the place, but that's all they are. He goes, he goes, um, but
Oh, and while we're here, what is a gift you give to a gargantuan?
to a what?
To a gargantuan silver dragon, or not silver dragon, time dragon?
He goes, yeah, I don't know. What do you get a dragon? I mean, it's not like they need a whole lot of, you know, I mean, if it were a chromatic dragon or a metallic dragon, I'd say lots and lots of vast wealth and shiny things, but a time dragon? I thought those were just a myth.
Oh no, let me tell you about her. And I proceed with a short.
Yes.
It did not
Wow.
go well. Apparently, my copper dragon is the equivalent of what the humans call redneck.
He goes, oh, in redneck. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Sort of an uneducated and backwards.
Mm.
Oh, so she thought you were a bumpkin.
Well, technically, the I learned copper dragon from a Raxolite. So the Raxolite that originally learned from copper dragon was kind of a bumpkin. Apparently, her accent stuck with it, and I speak a few words to him in Draconic. So.
Yeah. He kind of nods his head. It gives no indication, no solid indication of whether he
One way or
actually
the other.
understood or not. Yeah,
I had to try.
he's like, he's like, okay. He's like, but he goes, that'd be a sight to see. I mean, I guess if you ever
You
get a,
have like really old tea, like rare old tea that maybe she would like.
Okay,
well,
before
I
you
got,
get too deep into this, we don't have that much money.
I was just
uh,
thinking.
he's like, I don't know. I mean, I suppose there are some dragons who like to drink tea when they're in like a more humanoid form. But I wouldn't like I have some old teas, some really like very old blends. There's even some that's better when the leaves are aged properly. Um,
Mm.
it'll there's
Anything from pre-gap?
pre-gap, probably, but I'd have to go into our back catalog and order it in.
We don't have that kind of time, my friend. Do a pre. I will be more prepared when I Where are we going now? Kid, what's the name of the place that we need to go?
The Verilax Concordium?
Is that where
Well,
we
you
need to
got.
go?
Well, you still got to go to Vesk 7 to find
Oh
that
yeah.
Draylight, the heretic
First we have to
too.
go
So
to the heretic, but then we need to go
the
to. Say it one more time.
the Verilax Concordance.
Yeah, that's where we need to look for the person that has more information and everything else. Deliver the glass, get information, bring Gormy back from the dead. Okay. So, thank you for your time, and let's get back to the ship. Get out of here. Uh, and you can plot our
Um,
way to Vesk 7.
what about the
Oh,
dinner?
oh, good call. Let's go do the tea ceremony. I almost forgot about that. That would have been a dick move and
Uh,
ruined all of the fucking progress I made today. Um, okay.
It's only like you've got a couple of hours to kill to do
Oh,
sightseeing or whatever you feel like doing. Because I don't know if any of you've ever been to Vesk Prime in your past, other than Doctor Oglehop, as we've established. Um,
Dr. Oglehop. Take us to
biggest where?
the best place that he ate at.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, there's like he's got at least 5 different ideas.
Mm.
Like
Something along the lines of Vescarian street taco.
yeah, he can find you some Vescarium like vendor food. Like
Mm.
there's like uh he knows a place that's got um a very good like a very good well, not even a vegetarian platter, but a like
I
a
was going to say,
salad.
if he knows a vegetarian place, Vescarian.
Yeah, he knows
Mm.
if anybody would know where to find a like a
Yeah, you
vegetarian
make a good
place
point.
in the fucking Vescarium, it'd be him. He can find you like that sell like a confection. It's a salad, but it's a salad that is filled with like that has some meat from that's got a little bit of meat from a local like game animal mixed in,
Mm.
um, and like and some spices and stuff. Like the dressing is like very different. Like it's got like the foliage that makes up the salad itself is sort of like got like it's like green with a bit of purple leaves and some a few blue leaves and things like that in there, but the dressing that they make, the dressing for it is like this purplish stuff. And it's got like kind of a thicker consistency, but it all tastes pretty good. You know,
Nice.
unless you're unless you're an avid meat eater and you're like, I hate all vegetable things. But otherwise, it's
No,
pretty
none of
good.
us are Vescarian.
You know, you do actually find there are the like you do see like most of the people that patronize this vendor tend to be people like humans or the occasional isekai or some lashunta or the or some or some patra here and there, but you do see a few vesk in here. You're honestly kind of surprised to see the patra too because they have a very strong hunter culture. um,
Mm.
Maybe there's a couple of Ijtikris, these squid people, um, kind of hanging around, crawling to and fro slowly on their tentacles. Yeah. So you're and certainly some skittermanders too. Plenty of them. But yeah, um, it doesn't take long. After time passes, unless you've got any particular shopping or anything you want to do while you're in the Vescarium. Um,
Mm. No, we'll just waste our time with all that.
All right, yeah. So,
and then
um,
get back in the car and show back up.
yeah, the tea ceremony with Scorf Shorthorn is fine. You get the feeling that it's a little bit more relaxed than it might be with other members. Like, um, he's doing it as the formality, and
Mm.
you get the feeling that like he's playing nice because
Kid,
he's
drink this.
you know um
Just a little bit.
I drink it all.
yeah. It's actually good tea. It's actually fairly decent tea. Um,
All right. My
you
taster approves.
you
Apparently a little too much.
yeah, yeah,
I
it's
didn't realize
decent.
I was a tester and I just drink all of it.
I mean, he yeah, like he shows you a great deal of courtesy. Like everything that
I return it.
yeah, everything that Isig told you about sort of like the internal culture of the Grimbuckle Syndicate, he follows, if not as rigidly as you might have been led to believe with other members. But and you do get the feeling throughout the conversation that you're sort of small talk and what have you, that he is prodding a little bit to kind of get a feel of like your sort of mental attitude, like how you might feel about various things or how you might handle different situations. There's a lot of like stuff where he'll bring up a situation he's dealt with and then clearly wait for you to talk about how you might have dealt with it, or you
There
know
are several of them where I simply answer. That's why I have a.
that's why what.
This is sorry. This is why I have a corpse recycler
Right, yeah,
and
he
smile.
yeah he seems to
I've been
appreciate.
spoiled for a little too long.
Yeah, he seems to appreciate some of those answers. Some of, he doesn't necessarily seem to appreciate like since you have like that more like higher class social class upbringing, there's some of that that stands in contrast to his more rough, sort of like understanding of culture.
Mm.
Um, you know, there are those moments where you get the feeling that, some of your mannerisms may be slightly off-putting to him just because of, the way you were taught to do things. And there's probably a few where you're maybe like less used to, maybe you're more used to now because you've dealt with pirates and shit for the last year, but um
Well, and I was dealing with the underbelly of my Eoxian culture anyway. So,
right. So,
so like,
there's yeah,
while occasionally I do give that I was taught to be diplomatic flavor to things,
yeah,
occasionally I answer it with, well, I would have punched him in the face
yeah.
until it caved in.
Yeah. You,
And I hope those ones at least catch him a little bit off guard after everything else because uh, I've had to do my own dirty work more than once at this point.
you kind of, as a general impression, you get the impression that, um, like, while he may be put off by some of your higher society mannerisms, he does seem to appreciate the scrappiness of how you've come to your position of authority. Like, he asked you about your like feud with the Red Booters, like. And seems to enjoy hearing details of like whatever details of your fights with them that you might divulge, you know. Um, he's, anytime you mention the amber reef, if it comes up, his ears perk up to some extent. You can kind of tell what he's interested in. He's interested in, you know, he appreciates the fact that you kind of like you were kind of cast to an exile and started at a bit of nothing and that you were cast to an exile and started with what amounts to shit and fought your way into gaining some influence. He's still not
Unfortunately.
100%. Yeah, he's still not 100% certain about you, but like any time where you cast anything as you had to fight to put things together to make progress out there, like those things sell with him fairly well.
I tell him the story about the bard beating up our, head of security.
You tell him about like the graffiti artist beating up Death Arms.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fucking he gets a good laugh out of that one. Uh, he gets a good laugh out of that one, um, and he probably asks you about like the man's continued employment. He's like, he didn't like the question is like, you didn't fire him for that? I mean, he clearly failed very publicly, as a matter of fact, failed. You may have to like sell up his successes afterwards, where he's actually been useful in a fight
Well,
or captured people.
so I only brought Kip with me, so I can be a little more honest than I normally room and
Right.
say sometimes you need a meat shield, and he provides adequate fucking blockage normally. I mean,
But
honestly, there's at least the big scrape that you're hearing about on the news. He is the one that drugged me out after I let myself get ran over by a van.
he's,
So he's proving himself to be a better soldier.
he goes, he goes, well, he goes, well, he goes, if he hasn't failed since, then I suppose maybe the investment of time was worthwhile. He goes, he goes, me,
Also,
if somebody fails if somebody fails more than a couple of times, depending on the screw up, I might kill him on the first fuck up, depending on the screw up. I don't generally like to do it on the first time, but there are times where it's just necessary to send a message. Mm,
normally those messages for me end up being trigger fingers or big toes.
mm, He's like,
And then, of course, the corpse recycler, and I start laughing. And Ha starts laughing. Ha, 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 ha. And I'm like, calm down, Ha. It's not that funny.
like, he's like, but yeah, I think like, otherwise it goes fairly like not fairly like sort of like standard, like it goes
Mm.
politely and diplomatically. It goes well. Um, you know, uh,
And I'm happy about that, of course.
yeah, I mean,
So at the end of the evening, when it feels appropriate, I remind him, unfortunately, that I have a full schedule and we're going to take off in a couple hours.
he's like, he goes, hey, before you leave, he goes, next time we've got enough of the council together to get a decision-making thing going on, I'm pushing for a little bit more resources and expenditure here. It means something for our friendship if you were to sort of back that suggestion.
Can you send me a PDF of the details?
He goes, absolutely. He goes, he's like, he hands you like like a data chip. He goes, this isn't a full list of my proposal, but it is kind of the basic gist of it. Uh, the Vesperium is a gold mine opportunity here, and people follow the letter of the law because it's what it is. But everybody, and even and sometimes especially the most tied down and locked down individuals, are the ones that want to let loose the most. I mean, hell, our profits on drugs here could be at least 20% higher if we had a little bit more investment of time and energy. You know, a bit of a resource, a few extra credits to grease a few extra palms and put a few more hands to work on the distribution side and on the collection side, because
Mm.
you got to have a pretty strong hand to collect in a place like the Vescarium. And I think that's where I need the most investment is a bit of economic support to help bring the profits on drugs up by being able to increase enforcement in terms of people not walking off with an extra cut they ain't supposed to have on the internal level, and people who ain't paid their due buy-in on the customer end of things.
Right. That's why we don't do fronts.
And well, that's also quite a bit with the racketeering and gambling right there.
Right. Man,
Here's,
one of these days you'll have to come to my little chunk of the universe and check out our casino.
I might have to do that sometime. Because
Oh.
kind of interested in what this new territory looks like. Here's,
We got a
there you go.
green planet, a blue planet, and a gas giant.
He goes, sounds like they're keeping it fairly simple, trying to manage well, I understand you're supposed to be taking care of as much of the frontier as you can nab.
Mm.
So you got one system under your belt. What
Plus the not to get her on the Velquin.
you trying to get the Velquin under you, set up operations in the Velquin Empire?
I believe that's what we've been doing. Yeah. And
Right.
then we have some mysterious spots to explore when we have time.
He goes, all right. He goes, that's here you go. He goes, I look forward to hearing more about your climb. He goes, I understand you're a busy woman. He goes, I'm a busy man. He goes, he goes, he goes, you ever come back? He goes, you come back? May, he goes, you can expect hospitality. All you gotta do is, what you would normally do. Drop in and say hi. He goes, um, But you do get the impression, like, through your stay, anytime he's dealt with his underlings, there's like that edge of being much angrier and more psychotic. Like he's given you like plays nice. He's playing nice with you and your entourage because of your position. But like with
Mm.
his underlings, he's you know gotta he keeps them off guard. Which I mean, you could probably guess, being surrounded by fucking big ass Vesk and various well trained Patra and the like. You imagine he'd have to be a fighter. um,
Mm. Well, with a
and,
name like Shorthorn, we know he's already been a fighter.
yeah, he's got to probably like work extra hard to constantly prove that he's a dangerous motherfucker you don't want to cross. um, Like that's probably he probably spends a lot of that's probably why he's as unpredictably violent as he seems to be occasionally with his people. Um, I mean, the first time you went to have a meeting with him, he was murdering somebody for being incompetent. So,
Mm. Yeah, I know.
yeah. Yeah, it it doesn't take you much to get back to your ship. By the time you get back to your ship, like sort of the fallout from the political thing has sort of like there's even more like stuff being said about you on the news. Um like there's basically they're talking about like further information. Miss Depfo, as she has been identified, runs a space station it runs a space station in the Drage system in the Dorelium frontier, and it's unknown whether the League of Heladis will take direct action against the space station of hers with no political. She says, other reports suggest that there's a relationship with at least one major power within the frontier, the Velquin Empire. And is like other reports suggest that there is a major mercenary company presence, the Accord, that have a base that have been using the station as a way station. So it could be a question of political expediency versus uh, versus a cost analysis of direct action. It is at this time the Velquin Empire nor the Accord have made any actual statements regarding the situation, although although reports have it that um, although we've been trying to get representatives from either power from either the empire or the mercenary company to we've been trying to get representatives to talk about this sort of thing, and like they haven't nobody's issued a statement, but it's kind of come down to right now there's a lot of like question about like, do you have any cover if the League of Helades decides to make a move? Is there, is the league going to make a direct move? Because at this moment there seems to be a lot of accusation um, from the League of Helades, at least from talking heads. Like there's still no direct statement from Skilled Industries or Tier Skilled, but there is but a lot of the people they interview, like a lot of the interviews that are, that they have people who are familiar with the League of Helades because they don't really have time to get like a lot of information from, a lot of actual uh, direct interviews, but like experts in the political situation of the League of Helades, the economic, or they're surprised that Skilled Industries has not released a direct statement yet. Um, but there's like a lot of pundits that are talking about it. Um, they're like, oh, the if anything, as influential as Terrorist Guild is, that there should have been some word there. But the experts seem to think that the blame will lie in the Pact worlds first, because there's been a growing mistrust, and they feel like there's talking heads are like, we feel like the average citizen of the League of Helades is probably going to think that this was, a, that this Philip Defoe was sent out there to cause trouble by elements within the Pact world, government, or elements within the Pact world's financial sector. Um, uh, So, the news reporting is just sort of like progressing, and there's getting to be a lot of speculation. Um, there's enough speculation that it's like it's the news cycle feeding itself to some extent and keeping this story huge and relevant.
Eventually, hopefully, they get bored with it.
It's
Think?
not gonna happen.
Dang, I really
All
stepped in
right.
at this point.
Thank you for the wonderful night.
Yeah.
Come on, kid. Let's get ready to go to Vest 7. We'll sleep there tonight.
Okay. All right. I'll take my seat in the pilot seat. Get ready. Set coordinates.
It's gonna take you 3 days to get there.
Hey, we did way better this time.
Yeah. You managed to get to Vesk 7, and let's see. Oh gosh, let me grab my glasses here. Let's see, because I invest 7. Here we go. Yeah, so you find yourself, let's see, notifications, command 7, and forget. So the information you got would put this person, the heretic, this Dralic, in the the town of Forget on Vesk 7.
The town of Forget on Vest 7.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I say honestly, this is probably a good time.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess in that case, let's go ahead and get some sign-offs here.
Hello. Tonight, I, David the Gnome, played Philip Defoe as a man, which is unusual. We'll get back to being regular Philip later. This is the only thing we're in right now. Sorry about the in-betweens. Life happens. And on to Psychopathic.
That'd be me. I played Kib. Kib is trying to be good now because he stepped in a lot of things, and he's just trying to be nice, be quiet, and not mess any more things up. We'll see what happens when they bring her back. What happens after that? We'll see. I don't know. Currently, I'm not in anything else either. But in November, Lands of Barrier comes back, and I'll be in that. But until then, I'm only in this for now, and that's it.
All right. So we're gonna get a sort of a post-credit scene here. Maybe we're like we cut back to a couple of like a large house, and it's like there's the title card reads, the League of Helades, um, Clutchell's estate, um, outside of Clutchell's home estate. And maybe we get like a couple of people here, like we get say maybe we have a couple of like one half elf and one and war and maybe not a warland EC. Let's say a hmm that's appropriate here. Maybe an android and a half elf, like rummaging through, like going through like one of them is the half elf is sort of going through is sort of going through like the like drawers and things like that, like searching through like the how like this library type setting, like going through books, physical books, and going through like different like um, drawers and things, like he's looking for something. And the android is sitting behind the major table, typing away at a keyboard, and looks up and says, "It says." It says, "Have you found anything yet?" And the half elf, looking around, is sort of like pulls out a data slate out of the drawer and out of a drawer, and like looks at it and goes, "Nothing." And then maybe the camera cuts behind him, and the android is typing away, and we see a file, but like we see him pull up a file that reads as Project Topaz. And the android looks at it, and he goes, "I believe this is what the boss is looking for." And he kind of like, and he's like, "Call it in." And the half elf's like, "Well, what are you gonna do?" He's like, I'm gonna take a look at this. I'm gonna crack into it." And he goes to start typing, and several things, and there's a moment he's like, we get that moment where he's like, your security system's not good enough to keep me out. Nope, nope. And we see like him tapping away, and we see like his eyes, concentrating and whatnot. And then we see his eyes go wide and go, "Wait, wait, wait, no, 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 no." And like the entire screen flashes black. And then a large orange topaz flashes up on the screen, and that's as a big image. And then there's like, and then it just sort of like fades off. And he's like, no, wait, I'm losing the data. I'm losing the data. And he kind of like taps his head jack, where he's plugged into. And he's like kind of itchy. He's like, wait a minute. And he starts itching his head and he's like, wait, no, 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 wait, hold on. No, not. And then like you see like his eyes sort of like flicker and then like a whole line of code grow across his eyes, flash across his eyes and whatnot. And then there's and then he stops moving and his body just sort of slumps and all there is this line of code going across his eyes and the half elf goes running over. He's like, hey, he's like, wait a minute. He's like, hold on. And he starts shaking him and he kind of looks at the screen and the screen is completely blank. And he looks back at his android companion and we kind of fade out on him shaking him and like, snap out of it, man, snap out of it. And then we cut to black. Ladies and gentlemen, I am the Just a King Zarat. You can catch me here on Monday nights doing this. For the time being, that is all I'm doing at the moment. But I would like to apologize to everybody for missing last week. I had some dental work done, and I really wasn't up to talking a whole lot, unfortunately. But we're trying to be back on top of it, and I think I think that's about all I've got for the time being. So I guess let's get bring out the dragon and get out of here.
Bring
Bring
out
out
the
the
dragon.
Out the
dragon.
dragon.